Okay, and welcome to the third lesson in our patterns unit. And this is one of my favorite patterns, and I'm going to give this to you because you could talk all day about this pattern. There's a number of different ways to do this. So you're not right or wrong by doing it one of different, 5 different methods that students have shown me in the past. I'm going to show you the 2 most common ones that I have seen. If you have another one on your own, that is great. What we're trying to do is figure out how do we get to figure number 5? How many of these blocks would be in figure number 5? Pause the video. Try to see if you can get up to part C. So there's A, B, and C. I'm hiding solutions right now, but see if you can get to part C, which is how many are in the fifth. So answer A, B, and C, and then we'll see how you did, see how the pattern looked for you. So pause the video now, see how you did. Hopefully you've had some time to take a look at this. I'm just going to start by putting down, here is 8 blocks. Over here is 14 blocks, and over here is 22 blocks. So if you just looked at that, you didn't count the blocks and look at the patterns, you could probably see +6, +8, +10 is 32, and then +12 is 44. So you could probably have done that pretty quickly to get to 44 blocks for figure number 5. What I'm trying to do, though, is show other ways of doing this. So that's a common way you can do this, and I'll show you the good and the bad about this method. But let's talk first about this. How do we know the function is not linear? How do we know the relationship between the figure number and the number of blocks is not linear? If it was linear, it would be at a constant rate. It would be +6, +6, +6, or +8, +8, +8, and this is not. This is changing each time. How do we know that this is not exponential? If it was exponential, it'd be increasing by multiplication. So 8 times 2, times 2, times 2, or times 3, times 3. That would be what we call exponential. This is neither one, so it's a neat little pattern. It's not linear. It's not exponential. And how many blocks would be in the fifth pattern? 44. And again, there are a number of ways of doing it. The simplest way to start that most kids come up with is +6. This is +8. Then I go +10, +12, and I get to my 44. So that brings us up to the 30th figure. Do we really want to go out? And what if I said maybe 300th figure? That's a lot of work, and this is why we want some sort of rule that might make things a little bit easier for us to do the higher numbers so we don't have to keep drawing the patterns in. So what I'd like you to do now is, again, go back up here, pause the video, and see what can you do to get to the 30th figure. So if we want to know about figure number 30, how many blocks would be in figure number 30 in this pattern? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cover all this stuff up. That way we can work on this here, because we have, in this situation here, a number of different ways that you could solve this problem. And I don't want you to think that there's only one way to do this. So we're going to look at a couple different ways to solve this problem for the 30th figure. Now, I'll show you the way that made sense to me first. I see these 2 extra blocks in each one. So I know whatever we do, I'm just going to have a +2. Well, now I'm looking, here's figure number 1, and I have 2 by 3. This is a 3 by 4, and this is a 4 by 5. So if I have figure 1 is a 2 by 3, is a 2 by 3 plus 2. Figure 2 is a 3 by 4 plus 2 more, and so on. If I do this, then figure 30 should be just one more, 31 times 32 plus 2, which gives me 994, which is the correct answer. So that's one way. That was the way that appeared to me. I'll show you another way that students have come up with before. And again, as long as you can get to 994 somehow, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Other students notice, well, we have missing blocks here. They, instead of saying we have 2 extra, they were thinking of this as, well, maybe we're just missing blocks. Maybe this block, we're missing 2 here, missing 3 here, and they notice, well, I'm missing however many figure numbers I have. That's how many blocks I'm missing. If we go back here and we try to do this a different way, and again, we still want to get to that 994 answer that we're looking for. Slide this over to the side. The way they looked at it is figure 1 it was a 3 by 3 but missing a block. Figure 2 was really a 4 by 4, right? 4 by 4 missing 2 blocks. And if you take that pattern up, figure 30 was a 32 by 32 missing 30 blocks. And again, I'm just kind of using the patterns that we see here. So 32 times 32 minus 30. Hopefully I get that 994 number, and I do again. So these are two ways that you could do this, and this is kind of what I'm looking to kind of have you work with throughout this unit, is different ways to solve patterns. There's not one way, there's not a right or wrong. What patterns do you notice? This can be anything that you notice. Feel free to talk about anything you want, as long as you can show me how you get to the 994. And what pattern or what function can you use? Don't worry about the f of x for now. What we can do is, if you just wrote out something like this, just gave me these patterns, I'd be more than happy for right now if you could do that, because this is really important to see, because now if I want to do figure 300, I know exactly how to do it because I have a rule that occupies this. So good luck with the rest of the unit. Let me know if you have any questions, and have fun.